Hi, I'm Maryjo with Fourth Dimension Healing in Stillwater, Minnesota, which is my energy and crystal healing practice. And I also offer light language and mentoring sessions through my practice. Additionally, I am the director of the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies, which is my online school, and I'm the host of the Ask, Learn, Heal podcast. And through my school and my podcast, I offer a variety of ways for you to be able to explore healing, whether it's your own healing or to expand your skills and gifts to be able to better support others as well. And you can find links for all of my other, the work that I do, so to speak, down below this video. Today I want to take just a couple of minutes to talk with you about pendulums. I get asked about pendulums a lot, and I work with pendulums all the time in my healing practice and also sometimes in my day-to-day life as well. A pendulum is essentially anything that is weighted that is attached to a small thread or a chain. And so if we had a paper clip with a thread, yes, that would function as a pendulum, although it would be very difficult because it doesn't have a lot of weight to it. But I actually have sometimes used a thread in a paper clip to demonstrate and demystify what a pendulum does. A pendulum helps us connect with the subtle energy, that kind of under the surface intuition and guidance that we are seeking, that we can then work with either for our own healing or for that of another. And so I thought in this short little Rock Talk video, I would explore with you some of the ways to work with a pendulum and show you some that are representative of what I carry in my online crystal shop. To start with, I wanted to show you the pendulum that I work with at my healing practice. So if you were to see me for an energy or crystal healing session, I would be working with this exact pendulum. So here we have a piece of black tourmaline and it's weighted. Now sometimes pendulums are pointy, and this one, while it doesn't have a real distinct point, it does have a termination or a point that is part of the crystal. And so I find that this one to be very helpful. Pendulum is going to be used to connect with my own energy field, if I'm using it for myself, to connect with the energy field and the guidance that a student or a client might be inquiring about. If somebody comes in to work with me for chakra balancing, I will work with the pendulum to be able to determine where is the energy flowing effectively through their chakra system and where is it a bit bogged down. So when I'm working with the pendulum, I put a fair amount of the chain in my palm, and then I hold it like this. Now, working with the pendulum, we want to be able to get information that's either going to tell us a yes and a no. So that's always going to be important to know how to ask the questions and work with the pendulum most effectively. If you're really interested in learning how to work with a pendulum, my recommendation would be to reach out to me either through email, text, or give me a call, and let's talk about a mentoring session. I offer mentoring sessions. They're hour long. It's a perfect way to explore pendulums, how to work with them, and how to use them to benefit healing for yourself or for another in a variety of ways. So when I'm working with a pendulum, and if you are working with one regularly, you know this to be true, we have to be neutral, because we can influence simply with our thoughts what the information the pendulum gives us. And so when I'm working with the pendulum, we do go neutral, and that would be an example of how we would work with that during our time together as you are learning how to work with a pendulum really effectively. So this is the black tourmaline that I work with on a regular basis, and I wanted to show you some examples of some of them that I carry. Now, when we're working with gemstone pendulums, we have the benefit of having the effect and the benefit of the pendulum itself, and also working with the gemstone and crystal properties that pendulum brings. So here is an example of a bloodstone pendulum. If you find that you tend to be a little bit spacey, a little bit off planet, so to speak, you have a hard time grounding and being kind of physically present, and you want to work with a pendulum, working with a pendulum that resonates with the earth elements, such as bloodstone does, could be really helpful because it's that energetic property of grounding and really connecting with that earth plane that would be present as you were working with a pendulum. Pendulums, like I said, we want to have a yes/no so that we can get our information clear. And the first thing you do when you're working with a pendulum is learn how to identify what is your own unique yes and what is your own unique no. And again, we would tease that out during a session. Here is an example of a rainbow fluorite pendulum. Now, rainbow fluorite, unlike the bloodstone that you just saw, is not an earth element stone. This is a wind stone. So this is a really high vibrational stone that's going to be working up in that brow and that crown chakra. And if you are the kind of person that really draws in information through that visual plane, that sense of seeing, that sense of knowing, you may find that working with a pendulum that is a wind element stone could be really helpful. And this is a beautiful one. It's got beautiful hues of white and purple and green and blue fluorite. The final one that I wanted to show you today, and I have a variety that you can look at, this is a clear quartz pendulum. And this one is, this is a pendulum that is going to really support the whole energy field. Quartz, clear quartz, is a storm element stone. And if you're not familiar with the system of elements that I work with, please take a look at some of the other videos. So we've got this clearing of all the chakras happening with this clear quartz pendulum. And if you are the kind of person that really tends to be fairly balanced and not too bogged down at the bottom or too floaty at the top, you may find that benefiting from working with a clear quartz pendulum could be really helpful for you. And then sometimes it's just, what does it look like? What do we feel drawn to? We don't have to know all the properties of gemstone or crystal and how that plays out in the use and work with a pendulum to be able to be really effective. So again, here is that beautiful clear quartz, really clearing out not only our own energy field, but reminding us to stay in that clear space. Here is that rainbow fluorite that really connects up in these upper spaces of staying connected with that divine guidance that's coming from above. And then here is that bloodstone. And perhaps I'm hoping that as I've been holding them up, you've been sensing a little bit of a difference between simply those three qualities. And then I want to finish once more with my black tourmaline that I work with. And again, just feel into the properties of that black tourmaline. That can be really helpful as you're looking for a pendulum that is going to be also made out of a gemstone that you really resonate with, or one that reminds you of a specific way to stay grounded and centered and open-hearted. So that's just a bit about pendulums. There's a whole lot to learn, and a whole lot to our learning is about letting go of the outcome and learning to go neutral. So again, if you want to work with me to learn how to really get the most effective results out of your pendulum use, feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about any of the pendulums I carry, or perhaps you have a pendulum and you're wondering a little bit more about what you've got and how to work with it. You can always reach out to me with an email, or go ahead and give me a call and we can sort it out that way as well. So for now, take a look at the links below this video. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, for now, I wish you many blessings. Be well.